welcome to the deep dive. Trying to keep up with AI news these days it feels impossible sometimes, like drinking from a fire hose, right?
Absolutely. It's just nonstop.
So that's what we're here for, to cut through that noise, pull out the really important stuff from the latest developments, and give you that essential shortcut.
Exactly. And today we're really focusing on the absolute cutting edge. We'll be diving into some major model breakthroughs, like Google's latest.
Gemini 2.5 DeepThink.
That's the one. Plus, we'll get into the buzz around OpenAI possibly going open source, the surge we're seeing in Chinese AI models, a specific coder model that's turning heads, and even some new AI hardware developments.
Sounds like a packed agenda. Let's jump right in with Google then. Gemini 2.5 DeepThink is out for Ultra subscribers now. And the big headline is achieving gold medal level at the International Mathematical Olympiad. That's huge.
It really is a massive achievement.
But how does it actually do that? What's this DeepThink thing beyond just being good at math?
Right. So the how is the really interesting part. It's this mechanism they call parallel thinking. Basically, instead of just going down one path to find an answer, it explores like multiple ideas or hypotheses all at the same time.
Okay, like brainstorming internally.
Exactly. It extends its own processing time to really explore the problem space and find the best solution. So yes, it aced the IMO, but that underlying method makes it potentially great for, general reasoning, coding, even creative stuff. And get this. The specific version, the checkpoint they used for the competition, they apparently finalized it just 5 hours before the IMO problems were actually released.
No way, 5 hours. That's cutting it fine.
Right. And they're sharing the model card with mathematicians, too, asking for feedback, which is pretty transparent.
Okay, that parallel thinking in the IMO result, it's genuinely impressive.
Yeah.
But then there's the catch, isn't there? The usage limits.
Ah, yes.
It's apparently limited to just a few uses per day, something like 10 queries, even if you're paying, $250 a month for the Ultra subscription?
Yeah, that's the current reality.
So what does that mean in practice? Why so restricted for such a powerful tool seems odd.
Well, it likely comes down to the sheer complexity and probably the cost of running that sophisticated internal process for every query. It's not just one model turning away.
You mentioned agents.
Exactly. Inside, it uses these dedicated agents like a prover trying to build solutions and a disprover actively looking for flaws. They pass these little information packet back and forth to other agents, focus on the overall solution and refining it.
So it's like a little debate team inside the AI.
Kinda, yeah. And that refinement agent double checks everything, which boosts accuracy. It's how the Flash version got 4 out of 6 IMO problems and Pro got 5 out of 6.
All right.
But that whole process, especially because the agents are strictly prompted not to solve directly, but just to generate ideas, well, it's computationally heavy. Very resource intensive for each query right now.
Right, makes sense. Intense process, intense cost, limited queries for now.
Okay.
Okay, so while Google's doing that deep, complex stuff, OpenAI might be going the other way, towards open source.
That's the big rumor mill churning right now, yes.
Lots of buzz, leaks even, suggesting maybe 2 new models coming soon. A big 120 billion parameter MoE and a smaller 20 billion one.
Yep, those are the numbers flooding around. The 120B mixture of experts model sounds particularly interesting.
Explain MoE again, quickly.
Sure. Mixture of experts, think of it like having a team of specialists inside the AI. Instead of one giant brain trying to know everything, you have lots of smaller expert networks. The model routes your request to the best expert, or combination of them, for the job. It can be really efficient.
Gotcha.
And this rumored one is apparently super sparse, shallow with 36 layers, 128 experts, but only uses 4 experts for any given token. Plus, they're talking about attention sinks.
Attention sinks. What's that meant to improve?
It's supposedly a way to handle long contexts, like really long conversations or huge code bases, more effectively than older methods like sliding window attention. Better memory, essentially. Maybe using techniques like news yarn, but that's speculation.
Okay, but the big question everyone's asking, will it actually be open? Like truly open source?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Given OpenAI's history. Well, the community is skeptical.
Yeah.
Will there be weird licensing? Proprietary formats? Will you need some OpenAI app to even run it? We don't know yet.
True. And isn't there already a model called Horizon Alpha popping up on places like OpenRouter? Could that be it?
That's the theory. People are testing it. Initial results were, a bit mixed. Seemed weak at first on some standard tests.
Uh,
But then someone enabled a reasoning mode, and suddenly it was doing things like 20-digit multiplication casually, and apparently performing as well as, or even better than, Gemini 2.5 Pro on Leeson Bench.
Whoa, okay, so it has hidden depths.
Seems like it. Reports also mention it's surprisingly good at generating SVGs, and weirdly, excels at tasks involving magic and ineffable soul, whatever that means in practice.
Magic, okay.
Yeah, leading to the nickname Sonic Killer. If this is the OpenAI model and it ends up being genuinely open, that could really shake things up, democratize some serious AI power.
A sonnet killer.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be huge for the competitive landscape.
Absolutely. Oh, and people are reporting it's incredibly fast at reading files, finding errors, even generating a whole app from just one prompt. Speed seems to be a key feature.
Okay, so potentially very powerful, very fast, maybe open.
Mm.
We'll have to watch that space closely.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit. You mentioned the surge in Chinese AI. Andrew Innen thinks China might actually surpass the U.S., driven by its open weights models. Are we seeing real evidence of that?
We definitely are seeing significant momentum. Just look at Hugging Face trends in July. Models like Kimi K2, Qwen3 GLM 4.5, Tencent's Hunyuan World, Alibaba's Wan 2.2, they were dominating the trending list.
Really dominate.
Yeah, huge community interest and very rapid development cycles, it feels. Well, it feels like a contrast to some Western players, like Meta, who seem to be keeping their very top models more closed now. There's this perception, right or wrong, that Western open source might be slowing down a bit compared to this burst of activity from China.
Interesting perception. So it's not just hype. Users are actually finding these Chinese models compelling, maybe even switching from things like Llama.
It seems so. We're seeing specific improvements driving that. Kimi Moonshot's Kimi K2 Turbo Preview, for instance, suddenly 4x faster and 50% cheaper. That's a massive difference for developers.
Yeah. Half the price, 4 times the speed.
Exactly. Then there's Zhipu AI's GLM 4.5 open model, good reasoning, coding, agent capabilities. They're still sorting out the GGUF files for easy local running, but the potential is there.
GGUF, right? The format for running locally.
And StepFund's Step 3 model, multimodal, fast, cheap, now fully supported in VLLM for high performance. People are moving because these models often perform really well, and sometimes, frankly, they have less restrictive content filtering, which some developers prefer.
Right, that flexibility aspect. Okay, let's dig into one of those. You mentioned Alibaba's Qwen3, specifically the coding versions, Coder 30B, A3B, and Flash.
Yeah.
What's their deal?
So the Qwen3 Coder Flash is a 30 billion parameter model, but it has a huge 256K native context window, great for handling massive code bases, and it's easily available via Llama now.
Accessible, nice.
Yeah.
And the A3B version.
That one, the 30B A3B, is really fine-tuned for agentic coding, like having an AI coding assistant that can plan and execute complex tasks. A key thing they did was remove the thinking tokens.
Thinking tokens. You mean AI doesn't plan before it codes?
Sort of. Normally, a model might generate internal steps, like a plan or reasoning, before the final code. Qwen3 Coder skips that, outputting code directly, makes it potentially faster, but maybe harder to follow its logic on tricky stuff.
Interesting trade-off. Speed versus interpretability. Does it still do things like code completion? Fill in the middle?
Users report it can do some fill-in-the-middle CMM, but maybe not as reliably as older Qwen models. It wasn't an official focus for this version.
Got it. But the performance benchmarks must be good if it's making waves.
Oh, they're impressive. The base Qwen3 30B is reportedly matching GPT-4o in some benchmarks, both English and Chinese. That's huge for open source.
Matching 4.0.
Yeah.
And can you actually run this beast locally?
Surprisingly, yes. Full precision needs about 33 gigs of RAM, which is a lot, but doable. Or a quantized version runs on just 17 gigs. So yeah, accessible to enthusiasts.
That's not bad at all.
It's good with multiple languages, though tool use can be a bit flaky in some setups, like VLLM. And there was one kind of interesting neutral report. Someone asked the chatbot about internet censorship, and it just flat out refused the request, shut it down immediately.
Okay. Notable behavior, but the speed you mentioned earlier.
Right, the speed. The 30B A3B model hits around 120 tokens per second locally, which is quick, but deployed on Cerebras' specialized AI hardware, they're claiming 2,000 tokens per second.
1,000.
2,000. Cerebras says that's 20 times faster than Anthropic's Sonnet, with like a half-second time to get the entire answer. It's just ludicrous speed territory. Changes the game for iteration.
Absolutely wild. Okay.
Yeah.
That speed perfectly tees up our final topic, hardware. If the software's getting this fast, the hardware needs to keep up. There's news about AMD potentially making dedicated NPUs for PCs, separate from graphics cards.
Yeah, this is a really interesting potential development. The idea is standalone PCIe cards, like a graphics card, but just for AI, a dedicated neural processing unit.
So not part of the main processor or the GPU.
Exactly, a separate AI accelerator. And the big potential win, memory. These could potentially have way more VRAM, maybe 64 gigs, maybe up to a terabyte eventually, specifically for AI tasks.
A terabyte of VRAM on a consumer card.
Wow. That's the high-end speculation, but yeah. It would mean you could run much larger models locally, much faster, without clogging up your main GPU, which could keep doing graphics or gaming stuff, a huge boost for local AI.
That sounds incredible for running these powerful models on your own machine. But AMD already has some AI stuff in their chips, right? What are the hurdles for these dedicated MPUs?
They do. Their current Strix Point APUs, for example, have integrated XDNA engines for AI, and they can handle pretty large models already, up to 128 billion parameters for edge stuff. But the big challenge, especially for new discrete hardware, is always the software ecosystem.
You mean drivers and things like ROCm?
Precisely. RCM is AMD's answer to NVIDIA's CUD, the software layer that lets applications talk to the AI hardware. Historically, ROCm has lagged behind CUDA in terms of maturity, compatibility, and performance optimization.
So the hardware might be great, but the software needs to catch up.
That's often been the case. We still see it sometimes like benchmarks where a high-end AMD GPU might underperform an NVIDIA equivalent in AI tasks, possibly due to things like RAM bandwidth bottlenecks not being fully optimized by the software yet.
Okay.
But AMD knows this. They just introduced their own AI benchmarks called GUK and something called the Triton Kernel AI agent, which suggests they're using AI itself to optimize their low-level software. So they're definitely pushing hard on the software front now.
So they're aware of the challenge and working on it. Good to hear.
Definitely. It's crucial if these dedicated NPUs are going to succeed.
What a tour. Seriously,
So,
from Google's DeepThink doing parallel reasoning to OpenAI maybe dropping an open source bombshell, the incredible pace of China's AI scene, those super fast Qwen coders, and now dedicated AI hardware from AMD.
it's a lot. The pace is just relentless.
It really hammers home how fast everything is changing. You blink, and there's a whole new landscape.
For sure. And it leaves you thinking, right? As these models get smarter, faster, more specialized, and the hardware races to keep up, what comes next? I mean, what new things become possible, or what new ethical questions pop up when AI can think in parallel, like DeepThink, code entire apps like Horizon Alpha or Qwen, run smoothly on your local PC thanks to new hardware, all while this open versus closed battle plays out globally. For you listening, what feels like the biggest game changer coming in the next 6 months?